Well, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great start to your day. My name is Jeff Street. I teach people how to make money from home online. And today I want to talk to you about something that you probably don't know. I want to go and talk to you about something about me that I'm sure that you probably don't know. I was actually on a conversation last night with an amazing lady that had just joined the team. I'm doing some coaching with her, and she had just watched a training and watched my mentor do a training. And she's like, you know what I loved about it is him talking about where he was when he first got started. She's like, I just love hearing about the fact that you guys were like normal people, just like me, when you first got started. I was like, look, you don't even know. You don't even know like just how average every day that I was 15 years ago. Matter of fact, if you're watching this, drop a comment. Good morning, Rick. Drop a comment that says average every day. It's like you don't even know like how average every day that I was 15 years ago. And here's kind of who I was 15 years ago. Traditional business owner, business falling apart, but the apartment that I lived at the time that I got started, it just took me back some great reflection, some great memories, man. I wish I had like pictures. I wish I had videos. Matter of fact, if you're someone right now, you're like, oh man, you don't know how average every day I am right now in my journey. Start to document, take pictures, take videos. I wish instead of me telling this story, I could show you the video right now 15 years ago. But I remember, good morning, Joanne. Good morning, Geraldo. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Peter. I remember the first time that I had my mentor come over to my little $500 a month apartment in Philadelphia, in not a good area of Philadelphia at all. I'll never forget as he was walking up the steps. I lived on the second floor. I had a tiny little apartment. I'll never forget as he was walking up the steps, looking up at the steps going up to my apartment, and there was a hole in the ceiling, and I had the ceiling like covered with a blanket, so you didn't see the holes in the ceiling. Matter of fact, the little hallway in my apartment, same thing. I had blankets actually covering up the holes, in the ceiling. I mean, talk about average every day, right? I'll never forget, having my first meeting. Back then, we didn't do meetings online. We didn't do meetings on Zoom. We actually used to do them in person, where people would, believe it or not, people would actually invite people to people's homes, and then we would do a presentation. And I remember I had a cell phone store at the time, a bunch of them, a handful of them, and I remember saying to my mentor, like, oh, let's do them at my store. It's like real nice there. And he's like, no, let's do it at your home. We got to create duplication. I'm like, man, like I'm real embarrassed to have people come to my home. He goes, good. You'll be motivated to not live there very long. And I was like, hey, you're absolutely right. But the day that I had my first meeting, I literally found a rat in my stove that day. Like earlier on in that day, there was a dead rat in my stove. Who'd agree that's average every day? Matter of fact, I remember the day that I actually got started, the day that I filled out my old school paper application. I remember that day going up to my mentor after I filled out as a girl, I'm in, how long till you run my card? Or how long till I get my IBO number? How long till I get my identification number? I'm in, let's do this. And he's like, well, and back then we used to have to mail him in. And he's like, well, if you're, real anxious, I can overnight him. Then I'm a patient person. Like, what if you just do a regular mail? How long? He's like, probably about 5 days. So, all right, great. I'm a patient person. Just mail it in. Those are my code words for how long till you run my card. And here I was 26 years old, living in America, the land of opportunity, small business owner. And I knew at that moment that if I wrote a check for an amount that was less than $500, it would have bounced. I knew at that moment, if they ran my credit card for an amount that was less than $500, it was going to bounce. And man, that was a humbling feeling. And I actually literally called up my credit card company and got an extension on my credit limit just so I could get started, in my business. That was me 15 years ago. Average every day. The guy that had the rat in his stove the day of his first meeting. The guy that used to have blankets covering up the holes in his ceiling, in his place. The guy that was embarrassed about where he, lived, incredibly embarrassed when he had his first meeting. The guy that literally had to get an extension on my credit limit for an investment that was less than $500 15 years ago. That was me, average every day. Again, drop a comment that says average every day. And if you're somebody, you're like, oh man, that's me right now. I'm going through this. Again, document it, take pictures, take videos, because remember, the bigger the test, the greater the testimonial. And so again, because she was impacted, hearing, some of my mentor stories last night, I just felt compelled to get on, just share some things about me, because you look at the, the product today. You don't look at, where I was 15 years ago. You don't hear the way I sounded 15 years ago, the way I stumbled, the way I bumbled, the little confidence that I had in myself, the lack of self-belief that I had in myself 15 years ago. But let me tell you, I'm not the finished product. Like, I can't wait for 5 years from now to go back and look at this video and be like, man, like, look how much I've grown. Because remember, the law of the universe is we're either growing or we're dying, we're rotting or we're ripening. But for me, people are like, well, what was the secret? I got around mentorship. I got around great people. I got around people that went out and stretched me to become somebody that was so much more than where I was at that point in my life. Miriam, good morning. Glad to have you on. So I hope that somebody is getting some value, out of this video here today. If you are, hit the share button. Hit the share button. People are like, oh, did you have a girlfriend when you first got started in your business? You have an amazing wife, Melissa, now. Like, she's so supportive. You guys do this together. When you first got started, did you have a girlfriend? Was she supportive of your journey? No, I didn't have a girlfriend when I first got started. I was temporarily retired from dating when I first got started. Well, why was that? Because I couldn't afford 15 years ago, I couldn't afford to even take a girl out to lunch, never mind dinner, never mind have a girlfriend. You know what? That was embarrassing. But you know what? Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, here's what he says. He said, when you want success as much as you want to breathe, that's when you succeed. And for me, because my back was up against the wall so much, when somebody gave me an opportunity, when somebody gave me a chance, when somebody said, look, I'm going to help you, I'm going to show you where to go, for me, I exploded because of the fact that my back was up against the wall and somebody believed in me enough to go out and give me a chance. And if you're watching this video, you're like, man, like, I need somebody to believe in me. If you're watching this video, like, you know what, I'm ready to do something different. I'm looking for that mentor. I'm looking to, in the future be able to say, oh, that was me, average every day. Reach out, send me a direct message. Let's connect. Again, everybody, my name is Jeff Street. I teach people how to make money from home online. Drop a comment that says average every day. Geraldo, I appreciate you, brother. God bless everybody. Have an incredible day. Share the message. Drop a comment that says average every day. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. God bless. Have a great day, everybody.